Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. It is narrated that someone asked Hazrat Ali radiallahu anhu for proof of God's existence. Seeing that the man was a simple person, he replied, "It is enough for you to realize that if there is no God, the believers and non-believers are all the same, and no one has anything to lose. However, if there is indeed a God, then the deniers would be in grave trouble." This rationale satisfied the man, and he asked no further question. This is known as the precautionary argument for belief in God. In our day-to-day affairs, we often undertake chores not because of their absolute necessity, but merely because it is safer to do them. For instance, when camping in a forest, we arrange for a guard, not because of any imminent danger of thieves or wild animals, but as a precaution. We argue that although there is no imminent danger, there is no harm in having a guard. We all understand that such precautions are indeed necessary and useful. When we look at it in the light of this principle, we find that it is more prudent to believe in God than to deny Him. Even if there is no God and the universe is a result of chance, it can do us no harm to believe in God. Though this isn't true faith, this prudent or precautionary approach is better than no belief at all. Anyways, let's go through some of the different kinds of evidence for the existence of God. We'll break it down into 3 different levels. The first and weakest level of belief in God is called ilmul yaqeen, or certainty through inference. This is based purely on logical and rational proof. For example, it is said someone once asked a Bedouin what proof he had for the existence of God. The Bedouin replied that if he were to see camel dung in a forest, he would be able to tell by looking at it that a camel had passed that way. Therefore, by observing the glorious creation of the universe, why would he not be able to recognize that there was an ultimate creator? What a true and natural response. If human beings ponder over the origins of creation, it perforce leads them to the acceptance of a being who is the ultimate creator of all things. Can anyone truly believe that this building came about without a designer or creator? Or this art piece was the result of random chance, of an explosion of paint? Or a 747 was created from a tornado whirling through a junkyard? Or that an explosion in a printing shop caused this unabridged dictionary to form? Likewise, it isn't only the existence of creation which proves a designer or creator, but the order of all the systems working together. There is never a system of design to those things which come together through chance. Rather, they are marked by disorder. Consider this. The earth came about by itself. The things moving about in it came into existence by themselves. Man came into existence from nothing by himself. His nose, ears, and eyes all appeared by themselves. In short, all this happened by chance. Then, how come a magnificent lamp was lit more than 90 million miles away from the earth for the light to facilitate human eyes to see? A tree grew on the earth. It produced seeds, and the seeds were made to fall on the earth and sown therein. However, who determined that water is required for the seeds to sprout? And who arranged for sunlight to fall upon the ocean and carried therefrom billions of tons of water on the winds to the scorched lands and caused these clouds to rain? This is the absurdity of not believing in a creator of this vast, intricate, and complex universe. It's said that for a single protein molecule to be formed out of chance would require 10 to the power of 248 years. As far as the known span of evolution is concerned, for it to accommodate all the figures as have been mentioned is as impossible can be. All the amazing steps of creation only took 4.5 billion years. But is this conclusive proof of the existence of God? No. The order, the functioning of different things within their designed circles, yet dependence on other events and other millions of equally impossible chances proves that there most certainly is a designer of the universe. However, once again, this is only certainty through inference. This is like seeing smoke from a distance and inferring that there is a fire there. It isn't absolute certainty and is only inferring that there should be a God. So let's move on to the more conclusive proof of the existence of God. The evidence which, to a certain extent, eliminates that doubt and takes one to the stage of actually seeing that fire, of being sure that there must be a God. This stage, in Islamic terminology, is termed Ainul Yaqeen, or certainty of sight. In our daily lives, we often rely on the testimony of others. For example, travelers say Siberia is a vast, sparsely inhabited region, and we do not deny this. Why? Because numerous people have given testimony in support of these facts. We believe them in spite of the fact that we are unaware of the circumstances of these people and whether they are tellers of truth or tellers of lies. Also, we often quite rightly believe what we are told by our teachers and our doctors, without sometimes even being provided evidence. So, why should we not take into account the first-hand testimony of the existence of God Almighty from the millions of pious, honest people who have borne testimony to His existence, who have claimed God has spoken to them and they have seen and heard Him with their spiritual faculties? That's not all. We can attain that certainty of sight by actually studying the lives of these pious, righteous people, like the prophets. For example, every single prophet which has come in the past has always faced opposition. Despite presenting the belief in one God and going against all accepted norms of society, despite being outnumbered and outpowered, and at times having to face the strongest enemies, they are always successful. Their message always meets with success, whilst those who oppose them are met with humiliation. Take the example of the Prophet Moses, may peace be upon him, who despite being powerless was granted victory over the powerful Pharaoh, who was humiliated and drowned. Or Krishna, or the chief of the prophets, the Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, who is an orphan, had no power or wealth. Plans were made to kill him. He was forced into exile. Many tried to humiliate him and the Muslims in marketplaces and alleyways, and the whole world severed their ties with them. Yet, we see how history bears testimony to the truth of the Prophet's claim. He was granted victory over the enemies. He peacefully marched back into his homeland with an army of 10,000, and the enemies were humiliated. To this day, millions honor and respect the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Yet, what was the state of the enemies of God? Pharaoh, Abu Jahl, the enemies of all prophets, faced humiliation and are remembered with disdain to this day. These victories were and are proof of divine support for the weak and feeble, yet chosen ones of God. Likewise, we see countless prophecies, revelations, signs and acceptance of prayer through God's elect. For example, look at the countless prophecies in the Holy Quran, which, despite not being a book of science, 1400 years ago foretold what we now understand as scientific facts. Creation, the development and evolution from a single cell, the Big Bang, the printing press, forms of communication and travel development. All these things were foretold by the Holy Quran. At instances, the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ even gave such details that it is inconceivable for a human being to know of such details unless an all-knowing master of the universe had informed him. Likewise, we have true dreams foretelling future events. We have acceptance of prayer. All things that believers experience and we often see in the lives of believers. When we see these signs coming true and know that the individual cannot have influenced their outcomes and had no way of knowing, then it certainly proves that there must be a God whom they claim told them this. Those who deny the existence of God often put such prophecies, acceptance of prayer and revelation down to educated guesses or chance. However, the same individual or the same scripture making countless clear prophecies decreases the chance of all those independent events happening and strengthens our belief that surely there must be a God who is behind all this. The more one studies religions, the lives of prophets, and keeps company with the righteous, the clearer that vision of the fire becomes. The clearer it becomes that there actually is a God. The third and final stage is the stage of absolute certainty, which also has many stages within itself. However, this is the stage where, after relying on the previous two stages, one has enough food for thought. At this final stage, which in Islamic terminology is called Haqqul Yaqeen, or absolute certainty, an individual, by treading on the same path of the elect of God, also begins their spiritual journey and search of God. One begins to experience true dreams, acceptance of prayer, and communion with God themselves. This is like one walking to the fire and feeling the properties of the fire, feeling its heat and warmth, and being certain that this wasn't just an image, but is the actual thing. The more one experiences, the more the frequency and the higher the level of experiences, the more one continues to increase in their certainty and faith of the existence of God. These final two steps also highlight the importance of religion. So my advice to you is ponder over the creation. Study the lives of prophets and the Holy Quran. Study prophecies, and with that certainty, go on your journey of searching for God. Attain absolute certainty through your own experiences. Don't just rely on others' testimony or others' acceptance of prayers and prophecies. Experience for yourself. In the words of Hazrat Mirza Bashiruddin Mahmud Ahmad, the Muslih Maud Raziyallahu Anhu, I say, if in the hearts of some people there is a sincere desire to discover the truth, they ought to fall prostrate before God in prayer, with full fervour, and beseech Him in the following terms. O God, if indeed you exist, and if, as those who believe in you say, that you are possessed of infinite power, then have mercy on me and guide me to yourself, and fill my heart with faith and belief, so that I may not be left deprived. If someone adopts this course with a pure heart for at least 40 days, then no matter which religion or country that individual belongs to, the Lord of all the worlds will certainly guide them. And they will quickly see God manifest His existence in a manner that will cleanse the filth of doubt and suspicion from their heart. It is quite clear there can be no deception in this method of finding a resolution. What difficulty can there be for seekers of truth to adopt this approach?